G'day, this is the Inner Chief Podcast, episode 320. I am your host, Greg Layton, founder of Chiefmaker and the Council of Chiefs, and I believe there is a great chief in all of us, and that through listening to the stories, strategies and techniques of great CEOs, each of you can find and leave your own legacy through your work. The Inner Chief Podcast is where you will learn how to think and make moves like a CEO. For over a decade, I've helped CEOs and senior executives around the world boldly lead change, inspire their people, and leave a legacy. So every 2 weeks, I'll bring a deep diving interview with one of these CEOs or another one of a mid to large organisation so you can find your own path to greatness as an executive. Chief, in today's Minisode and YouTube video, I'm going to cover my top 3 tips for beating overwhelm. Now, Chief, between your work, home, and all of your social life, things are getting fast, and life will flash by if you don't take control of your mind and the way it responds to this high-paced world of information and task overload. So today we're going to talk all about my regular process of mind mapping and the scientific reasons behind why it works, the science behind getting in and then staying in the flow, and how to own your own time and your own calendar. Chief, you can also watch this in video format on YouTube. Head to chiefmaker.com/YouTube. Righto, Chief, let's get into today's topic. G'day, Chief. Welcome to Chiefmaker and my top 3 tips on beating overwhelm. Now, Chief, everyone who's in a senior role in an organisation is getting crushed, right? We are just under the pump. I'm sure you've got endless meetings to attend to, 1,000 tasks to execute the strategy and run operations, needy clients, suppliers, staff that have higher expectations than ever before from their leaders, emails, social media, telephone calls. Then at home, you're probably trying to be a better parent. You're probably trying to get fitter. You probably want to spend more time with your friends, organise amazing holidays. It is just, it's almost an impossible task, isn't it? Oh my gosh, it is so hard to not only find that balance, well, we're not talking about balance so much today, but also maintain an order to zen. How do you find or a way to beat the overwhelm that comes as a result of all of those incredibly challenging but also important activities? Like if you sit there and say, well, how many of these things am I going to give up? Give me quite the challenge, right? And I would say that beating overwhelm and getting on top of your game, it's got to be in the top 3 of all time requests I get when we're running leadership programs or I'm doing one-to-one. How do I get on top of things? How do I even get in front? Well, wouldn't that be nice? And if you ask yourself one of our most favorite questions, which is, what would it take for me to make a step change performance improvement? Nearly always people say, feeling more organized on top of my game, right? So I just want to share 3 really important things that are going to help you beat overwhelm and get on top of your game so you're more present in flow and loving your work. Number 1 is mind maps. Chief, if you've never used them to beat overwhelm, then now is the time. A mind map is almost like a helicopter view of all of the key things that are going on in your life. But it's categorized, Chief, into normally no more than 5 to 7 core categories. Now, as an example at work, that might be team leadership, it might be reporting, it might be key projects, operations, sales, it could be any of that. It might also have your life on that, so fitness, family, finances. You build a mind map, you start with a set of categories on top, and you essentially take everything that's rattling around up in your brain and you get it down on paper. I use mind maps. I've been using them for more than 10 years, probably 15 years now. And I use them as a sign off on a Friday and a reconnect on Monday. Friday afternoon, I sit down with my mind map and I add on any little thing that's rattling around upstairs. Maybe something I've got to do for a client, maybe something I've got to consider for the sales of the business or some marketing that we're doing, or it could be anything. I make sure that I use that as a place to store all of the most important activities in my life, clearly categorized, right? So Chief, if you haven't done mind mapping before, do it and use it two ways to begin with. One is a sign off at the end of your working week, and then a sign on a Monday, and then you check in regularly, maybe 2-3 times a week on that mind map. It should also bring you back and let you see what's most important in your life and where the key priorities are, or the most important points of focus, because things might be a bit broken in certain areas. So that's number one. Number two, it's flow, right? There's a great book out, and it's called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And he talks a lot about how high performers over centuries and even millennia now have known the power of using flow, which might be meditation, exercise, art, music, to calm the mind and be present in the minute. We now know that there's a whole lot of neurochemicals or hormones that get released when we're in that moment, which make us feel good. It's like someone once described it as like a beautiful shower for our brain and our body to reset. Not only that, but people often make the mistake of thinking that when they're off doing flow, that they're not working. Actually, what you're doing is harnessing the best parts of your brain, letting your unconscious mind go to work on all those projects and ideas and thoughts. For example, podcast topics, right? YouTube topics, that often comes from me when I'm out on my bike riding through the hills, okay? These are really important and powerful ways to spend your time that harness creativity, that get you in the moment and present. And when you come back to work, it's like everything has a little bit more perspective to it. And the third one, which probably won't be any news to you, but it's one we don't do too well, and that is 100% total ownership of your calendar. This is a mindset issue, Chief. Very often, we don't really take that ownership. And ask yourself this question: how much of my time, or what out of 100, what percentage am I taking ownership? 100% means nothing gets in your calendar unless you vet it and you agree with it. And it's a good spend of your time. How much really out of 100, be honest with yourself, are you taking ownership of your calendar? Because when you take ownership of that calendar, you will start to see things like the 20% of meetings that suck 80% of your energy and life and attention. If you can just focus on that 20%, say, hey, that time there that is sucking my energy, my attention, my spirit, my results, and you remove those, either delegate or just stop doing it, all of a sudden, you get 20% of your time back immediately, but you also remove 80% of the stuff that's draining you. So, Chief, if you just did those three things, I want you to imagine, cast your mind forward now in a month's time, you've been doing mind mapping, you've been actively doing flow and exercise and meditation, whatever form that you love, that works for you, music, art, I don't care, and you've taken true ownership of your calendar. Guarantee you'll have improved the quality of your experience at work, and the level of overwhelm will have dropped. So, Chief, that's top 3 tips, the most powerful things you can do to beat overwhelm. Chief, all the show notes can be found at chiefmaker.com/320, or as I said, you can watch it on YouTube. Just go to chiefmaker.com/YouTube. All right, Chief. Now, if you'd like to do a bit more of a deep dive into how you can be better at this whole thing of beating overwhelm, we have a short and powerful course for you called 7 Ways to Save an Hour a Day. And each of those 7 little tips is going to make a real difference to your day, so that you have more time on your hands, you're more effective, And actually, you really do beat that overwhelm. If you want to know about the course, just go to chiefmaker.com/save an hour. It's only $49, but I absolutely guarantee you're going to save a ton of time and effort and energy. So righto, Chief, check it out, chiefmaker.com/save an hour.
Now, Chief, if you're yet to rate the episode and subscribe, I hope you'll do so soon. It helps others see the magnificent value that the chiefs and gurus on the show bring to their life and career. So make sure you hit subscribe on your podcast app now, give it a 5-star rating if you think it's worthy, and leave a short review about your favourite episode.
Righto, Chief, as always, remember to stay epic.